Is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. I hope you guys are doing great tonight. I hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. Hope you guys are ready for our first real 2024 fantasy football draft with the community of the year. Super excited to be here with you guys tonight. We've got a full PPR 12 team double flex draft tonight with the Catch fan community. League number 3. I don't know why league number 3 is drafting first, but you guys are. We're kicking off in less than 3 minutes here. So this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a good league. All the leagues this year look great, super competitive. Going to be a ton of fun. There is a buy-in for all the leagues this year. So this will definitely be not super high stakes, but the stakes are there, to say the least. So you guys know what it is. Hop in the live chat. Any fantasy football questions you guys have, redraft, dynasty, best ball, whatever it is, any fantasy football topics that you guys want to go over, any NFL topics that you go over, hop in the live chat. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's talk some fantasy football. And of course, let's throw together some beautiful squads for the 2024 fantasy football season. All right, so we did have some preseason action today. So we'll go over some of that. Pete's going to join at some point. I'll probably do an underdog. There's Pete. Pete's right on time, baby. Let's go.
Here.
I just did. I manifested you. I just said Pete's going to join at some point.
No, I was here. I was trying to record a short, but, couldn't get it done because, highlights don't want to post the instant they happen. But we're here.
We're happy you're here. It's going to be a great stream tonight. We got a lot to go over. We got preseason action. We got injury. Jalen Warren.
Rip.
Najee Harris stock going way up. We got a real draft underway. This is not a mock draft. I'm nervous. I'm excited. We're kicking off in 1 minute here. So, I'll probably do an underdog draft after this as well. Go over teams at the end as well. So, we've got a fully loaded stream tonight. All right. I'm going to do my best to not sway the draft in any way. You guys have a minute and a half per pick. That'll be what it is for all the leagues. If we get to round 8 and you guys are change it to a minute, and the majority of you guys are saying that, that's fine too. We'll see what happens. But 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex spots, 5 bench spots. We'll have an IR spot, 6 points per passing touchdown, full PPR. And it is 10 p.m. Eastern time. A meal is on the clock. All right. I see all green dots. I think I've seen a green dot for one. So C-Max off the board to start. This is such a... I hate this pick right here, man.
We've had a lot of practice at this pick.
I know. Talked about this last night, and I'm completely fine with CeeDee Lamb here. I'm okay if you want to go Bijan or Brees if you want to start your draft with a running back. I can see an argument for Chase or St. Brown and even JJ here, but right now my pick is Hill at the 1-2. And I love CeeDee Lamb here too. I think it's 1A, 1B if you're going wide receiver here between Lamb and Hill. I think it's 1A, 1B if you're going running back between Hall and Bijan there. But I'm going to have some diversification. I'm going to be in 20 leagues this year, super deep in best ball drafts, so I'm okay taking Tyreek Hill there. All right. Let's see who's in the chat. Then we'll start to go through some of the preseason stuff. And we'll get rolling here. Whew. Nerves are in. Jacob, good to see you. Let's go. Tommy, great to have you in the chat. Glad you're listening in tonight. We got league number 2 firing up tomorrow. Gob, same to you. Draft well. Don't let the stream distract you. No, I'll be good. I'll be good. Like Pete said, plenty of practice. So, yeah, the Warren hamstring injury. If that affects anyone, it affects you, Cameron. That's your strat, is to take Najee and Warren. But, yeah, we'll see, how serious this is. I mean, this could be a situation where it's like, he'll be back week 1 if there's no setbacks. But for the moment, if you've been drafting a lot of Najee Harris, like in best ball, you feel good. That's how this works. So he left the game against the Seahawks, right? Playing the Seahawks.
Yeah. Whoever. Yeah. No, the Seahawks played Tennessee. Buffalo.
Oh, that's right, Buffalo. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to completely overreact. If you do have a lot of shares of Jaylen Warren, I mean, it doesn't feel great right now. But, like with Jahmyr Gibbs, like I put Gibbs right back at the ADP he was a few weeks ago. And I think a lot of other people, you've seen that reflected. People aren't drafting Gibbs at like pick 20 anymore. So I think Warren probably be okay, but we'll wait and see. I don't have a lot of stock into Pittsburgh's running backs anyways. So. Good luck, league number 3. Good luck, everyone. It's going to be a great year. A lot of fun. Should be a good draft. Let's go, J Fitness. Emil, what's up? Glad you're here. Chase Brown's in the house. Hello. Let's refrain from putting stuff in the chat that will sway people. Yeah, I always kind of like try to make an announcement about this, and I totally forgot. But yeah, you feel free to observe the draft, but try not to push it in any way.
Tyreek Hill trash.
Yeah, I mean, if it's my team, you guys can roast my team all day long. That's fine. Chase says best of luck. Let's go. That's right. Tyreek's gone. Chase Wellner. Hello. Andrea. Hello. So yeah, for those of you drafting tomorrow, this might be a good look at what you might potentially see. Don't know. I'm excited for tomorrow's draft too. By the way, league number 2. Yeah, Pete says I'm not. It's going to be a good draft. League number 2 is the quickest league to get all your payments in. So thank you guys for that. All right. Except actually, I need to make the payment for me and Pete. Don't worry. I won't forget to do that. Okay. Preseason. Let's take a look. Go down the list. Still got Commanders, Dolphins going on. Bucks, Jags going on. So let's see. Falcons, Ravens. I didn't see anything from this game.
The Falcons missed a 2-point conversion with no time left, basically, to lose.
Beautiful. Did any starters?
No ties. No, I don't think like any starters played in football today.
Well, I know some did.
The Texans and the Giants were the big starter game, it felt like.
Jermaine Burton had a catch. That's it for the Bengals. Caleb Williams looked good again. Scrambled around.
50% completion. Trash. Overrated.
6 of 13. I mean,
Overrated.
I knew this was going to trigger Pete. He did basically throw a nice touchdown to Roma Dunze, who just couldn't stay in bounds. Good play there. The scramble was nice to see. Made things happen. Other than that, yeah, Roma Dunze had 1 catch. Khalil Herbert got 5 touches, 31 total yards, but not a whole lot to pull from there. Giants, Texans. Let's go, Dan. You guys asking for weeks. Is Daniel Jones really that bad? I mean,
yes, he is.
This was rough, man. This was rough. Yeah, it was just, I mean, this isn't even the Texan starters out there. And it was rough, to say the least. 2 picks, a pick 6. He had a couple like decent throws, actually. And I'm talking like 2 throws, but like, is it gonna be enough? I'm gonna say I don't think so. I mean, Malik Neighbors looked good with what he was given. 4 receptions, 54 receiving yards. Darius Slayton looked okay. Like, that's the thing. You're going to see this team playing from behind, and at times, like, these receivers come up with balls. But like, if I'm just not in on the Malik Neighbors super, super high draft stock. I'm just not, because of Daniel Jones. Man, I was praying that Henry fell right here.
I had to be quiet. He was falling
Like,
hard. Henry was falling hard.
So, yeah, and I talked about this during last night's stream. It's like drafting from the 211 early in the offseason, Henry, Pacheco, A-Chain, one of those guys is usually there. And just as the offseason has progressed, especially with this community, I just like there's just no hope whatsoever for one of those guys being there. So I'm just going to start aggressive at wide receiver, and I'll just say that much. Don't want to give you guys the scope here. So I'll go. I mean, really, any of these wide receivers, there's a ton on the board right now. There are good running backs, I think, right here as well. But I'm going to go. This is a really tough pick. I mean, you got Olave, you got Ayuk, Debo's here, Waddle's here, DJ Moore, I love. I'm okay with reaching for Devonta Smith right here, too. Doesn't bother me. I think Ayuk's back with the Niners. I'm going to take the risk.
Ooh, okay.
I'm okay with any of those. Like, there's an argument for any of those guys. I like Olave a lot right there, too. But I'm going to pick an offense that I think is a little bit higher powered. Love Waddle there. Like I said, I like DJ Moore. I'm okay with him there. I'm reaching for him. I'm okay reaching for Devonta Smith there. I don't know. Sorry, I feel like I'm swaying this draft, but I'm just trying to give you guys insight to what I'm doing. And yes, I do wish Derrick Henry was there at the 211, but we'll start aggro at wide receiver.
Don't worry, Derrick Henry will be gone by like the 2-3 tomorrow. Knowing that draft.
I know. All right, Devin Singletary had a touchdown. Neighbors had a rush for 5 yards too. Not a whole lot to pull here. At least Neighbors was coming up with what he was given, which is what we want to see. All right, for the Lions, I don't think we had any starters. Hendon Hooker had a rushing touchdown for all you Hendon Hooker truthers. That's it. Zonovan Knight, remember him when he was a waiver wire champ? Patty Mahomes hit the highlight reel, the behind the pass throw to Kelsey. The interview was funny. He was saying Kelsey ran the wrong route, and just to spite Kelsey and try and like make him look bad, he threw that pass. So I don't know. Carson Wentz threw a bomb to Xavier Worthy. Well, not really a bomb. It was a pretty long pass. Xavier Worthy had 3 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. So that's my biggest takeaway here is we're going to see more Xavier Worthy hype for sure. And Carson Wentz is a backup quarterback. I love a good backup quarterback story. Carson Steele, not as much of a highlight buzz in this game. Player that some people are watching, like in Deep Dynasty, best ball. Deneric Prince looked okay with the touches he got. Pacheco had a touch for some reason. I don't know why they're even playing him. Rashee Rice was fine. 4 grabs for 35 yards. Kelsey had just that 1 grab. Kadarius Toney, worth noting, had -4 receiving yards. So, yeah, not a ton there. The Vikings played a football game today.
We did.
Nick Mullins threw a tutty.
Nick Mullins threw a tutty.
Let's go. Matt Corral had no snaps.
Matt Corral did play. That's a lie. He played. He got a safety. He looked horrible.
Oh gosh, now I see that he had 2 carries for -3 yards. I'm sorry.
He ran about 30 yards backwards to take a safety at the end of that game. I mean, he looked like he had never played a football game before on that drop back.
Wow.
It was pretty bad.
Man, I remember when I thought Dwayne McBride was going to be a thing last year.
So did I.
Yeah. There's really nothing to talk about here.
No, the Vikings defense
got a lot of touches.
Yeah. The Vikings defense kind of dominated that game.
Tyler Huntley did not look great, although he had a really bad pick that should have been a pick 6, and his helmet got knocked off, everything, and he was behind the line of scrimmage on the 4 and or on the ground and put his helmet back on and chased the guy down. That was cool, but
that guy ran out of gas. He was dying.
That's great.
Huntley showed up. He was dying.
DTR also threw a pick. Not a great day for the backup QBs for the Browns.
The DTR pick wasn't really his fault.
Okay.
It hit a receiver in the hands, and it popped up and went to the safety behind him at the end of the half in the red zone. They were driving to score before the half.
Fair. Better day for him than Huntley, I suppose.
Yeah, he looked better.
As I'm just reading stats. Good takeaway here, though. Donta Foreman is alive and well, got 10 touches, a touchdown, and had 5 receptions for 46 yards. So I might care about that more than other people out there because I've taken a lot of Donta Foreman as like an RB6, RB5, and underdog drafts. Assuming that Nick Chubb does not start the year and Foreman gets goal line touches. So that makes me happy. I saw someone mention who's up next. Yeah, Sam Howell is solid. Sam Howell, 11 of 14, 153 yards and a tutty. As soon as I saw a highlight reel for Sam Howell, I was like, let's go. Beautiful. Other than that, nothing really to look at for the Hawks. Jake Bobo had a catch. Kenny McIntosh, 5.8 yards per carry. Not awful. I also remember when I thought McIntosh might be a thing last year. Tough depth chart for him, though. Titans, Malik Willis threw a pick, did some stuff on the ground, 30 rushing yards. Mason Rudolph was okay. Had a touchdown, 125 yards, 10 of 17. Nothing. I don't know why I even mentioned some of the quarterbacks like they're important, but nothing else there to go over. Bills, Steelers. Mitch Trubisky threw a pick. Imagine that. Ben DiNucci, was 3 of 5. Ray Davis looked good on the ground, but so did Frank Gore Jr. James Cook was okay on the ground. Keon Coleman had a catch. Dawson Knox had a catch. James Cook had a catch. And that's about it. Here's an interesting breakdown on quarterbacks. Actually, Justin Fields, 11 of 17, 92 yards. Russ was 8 of 10 for 47 yards. Justin Fields had 42 yards on the ground. That's who you guys going with there?
Everybody was Justin Fields QB1 hype because social media.
Yeah. That's a scary quarterback situation, fantasy-wise. Najee had 4 touches. Jalen Warren, just the 1 touch. 2 catches for Warren, though, before he got hurt. Freiermuth had a catch. A lot of wide receivers had 1 to 3 catches for the Steelers. Like a lot. Pickens had a catch, but nothing notable here. Probably just Arthur Smith's evil mind trying to figure out what he's going to do with this team next year. The Jets and Panthers played a football game today. Looking at the Jets, Braylon Allen, decent on the ground again. Izzy, decent on the ground. Malachi Corley had 2 catches. Not a lot of starters there, or potential starters. Panthers backup quarterbacks played. Rushing game, Dylan Johnson was good. Jatavion Sanders had 2 catches. That's it. That's a gross game.
Chuba's hurt. Chuba got hurt.
Tua got hurt?
Chuba.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Chuba got hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt like yesterday or Friday. At least
Really?
Canales said he got tweaked. Tweaked.
Don't do this to us, Chuba. Oh yeah, I saw that. You're completely right. That did happen.
And I said no.
The Commanders, Dolphins ending any minute. Jaden Daniels, 10 of 12, 78 yards, 13 yards on the ground, no touchdowns, rushing or passing. Brian Robinson Jr. had some touches. Jeff Driscoll was somehow the leading rusher for Washington. So watch out, Jaden Daniels. There might be another dual threat quarterback on this roster. That's about it. Receiving wise, McLaurin had 2 grabs. Forgot Jamison Crowder's on this roster. He had 3 grabs. Brown had 3 grabs. Sennett had a grab. Jahan Dotson a grab for 3 yards. I'm starting to get worried about my boy.
He's in trouble.
I know, I'm worried. Tua looked sharp. 5 of 5, 51 yards, and a dime in the end zone for a tutty. A-Chain had 2 touches. Mostert had 3 touches. A-Chain had 2 grabs. That is wow. They got a lot of wide receivers involved tonight, but no one worth mentioning. Malik Washington had a grab, but that's about it. All right, hold on. I gotta take a look at the board coming up here. Anything specific stand out to you in today's games, Pete?
Today's games, no, nothing.
I didn't think so.
I feel like next week we'll probably see some more starters. I feel like it was a little limited. Like, I don't know. The preseason is kind of weird. I have no idea what to expect from teams. Are starters playing? Are starters not playing? How many reps? I don't know.
It is. It's always a strange time.
It used to be very consistent, very easy to figure out. Like, oh, preseason game number 3 out of 4, all the starters are playing for like the half.
Oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do with this pick.
Patrick Mahomes.
I think I know. Nah, I'm not going my homies.
I know you're not, but
goes against my strat.
Yeah,
my entire philosophy. He did cross my mind.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'll go Mixon here. I'll take a running back. Mixon or Walker or another wide receiver was my thought. I'll go Mixon, and then I'm going wide receiver here, and I'm going Rashee Rice. I like Flowers and Cooper and Kirk all there too. I thought about going 5 wide receivers in a row because there's just a lot of good value here. But
I mean, that's a good pick if the Rice rumor is true and he's not getting suspended this year. It's a good pick. He's wide receiver 1.
Sure. Yeah, I'm okay. Kind of a hero RB build here, so to speak. RB in the 4th, though. Crusty, dusty, injured in the offseason. Mixon. It's my RB1. Let's go. All right, the Cardinals and Colts played. Trey Benson got very involved today. 9 touches, 43 yards. But so did Amari DeMarcado with 10 touches for 24 yards. Better average yard per carry for Benson. Clayton Tune ran for a tutty. Desmond Ridder looked better than the last preseason action. Michael Carter, Tony Jones, way less involved in the last preseason action. Notable stuff for the Trey Benson watchers out there. Nothing really notable in the receiving game other than Michael Carter had a catch. Amari DeMarcado had a catch. Colts had quarterbacks play that aren't worth mentioning because Flacco's their QB2. I mean, really, it's just a battle for the QB3. Evan Hool had 4 touches. Xavier Scott and Tyler Goodson had 6 and 11 and both scored, though. So if you're looking for a handcuff for the Colts behind JT, it's very up in the air still. Receiving-wise, Laquan Treadwell was really involved. 7 grabs for 72 yards. Other than that,
the fact he's still in the NFL, good for him.
I know, yeah. Wild. Other than that, nothing worth. I don't even know if that was worth mentioning. Rams Chargers, another day of Stetson Bennett. I can't it's really easy to forget that Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to play the first 2 games of the year. Like, he's suspended. It's like so random. But they're seeing what they have in Bennett. He was 17 of 31, 213 passing yards, a touchdown, a pick, and -1 rushing yards. So I guess better than last week where he threw 4 picks. Zach Evans, Boston Scott both had double-digit carries, 10 and 16, respectfully. Jordan Whittingham looked sharp again. Watch out, Demarcus Robinson truthers. 5 grabs, 52 receiving yards, 10.4 yards per catch. He's going to make this team for sure. He's definitely a name to watch as much as I am heavily invested in Demarcus Robinson. All right, Bucks. Jags has under 2.5 minutes to go. 4 touches for Sean Tucker, 6 for Bucky Irving. Watch out, Rachaad White truthers. Just kidding. White's still the guy. I will never believe anything else. Receiving wise, Jalen McMillan had a grab, not really anything else to pay attention to. Mac Jones looked okay today. Yeah. Don't know what he was playing against, but he threw for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. Beathard had, I'm assuming, 1 drive, 5 of 7, 40 yards. Mac Jones even had 14 rushing yards.
Dual threat.
I read an article like last week that Mac Jones might not even make the roster, but this should help. But who knows? It's probably just off-season buzz. It was like Mac Jones struggling in camp. Who knows? He's a fine QB3 if Beathard's truly the QB2. Parker Washington, Austin Trammell, Brevin Easton were your leading receivers for the Jags. They got a lot of receivers involved today too, but nothing that I would say notable. All right, and that's everything. We have the Cowboys Raiders coming up. Oh yeah, that's already started. Packers Broncos tomorrow at 8. Saints Niners tomorrow at 8. We're gonna get Bo Nix in prime time tomorrow. Let's go. Let's go.
Boo.
Chase, thoughts on the Chiefs RB2 spot behind Pacheco? I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire's, I don't know. He's kind of in a weird spot, right? He's had some off the field stuff, personal stuff, and then like he hasn't been hurt, but he's been listed as questionable. So I'm looking past him right now, and I think Deneric Prince is the guy, and then people looking at Carson Steele as well, who's seen an increase in usage, but didn't look as good in today's game as he did last week. But he's a guy who might make the roster, maybe. I think Deneric Prince is the guy to target right now, but Pacheco going to be a monster. They're going to feed the crap out of him. But I mean, maybe that's a reason to look at the handcuff, right? J-Dub's good to see you. Thank you for gifting a 1-month membership. It goes to Cats. We'll say that's deserved. Doug says good luck. Nick says great draft. Would you trade CMC in a keeper league for Hall or Bijan? So I'm assuming you're saying like this is like because there's different ways to do keeper leagues. Like some people do where like you can keep a player and repeat years. So like you can just hold on to CMC like next year and the year after if you want it. And if you trade him for Hall or Bijan, then you can keep Hall or Bijan for multiple years. Is probably what you're asking. Or else the keeper league doesn't really have context, just a straight up trade. But I would consider it, yeah. But I think for right now, I still want Christian McCaffrey. I do think that Brees or Bijan have the potential to finish in front of Christian McCaffrey this year for sure. So you kind of have to look at it as like your own conviction. I think it's interesting. Like the keeper leagues I do, you can't keep the same player 2 years in a row, because then it's almost like you're close to like a dynasty, like a little sprinkle dynasty format in your redraft league. But I think I get it. Some leagues do it. It's cool. So you really have to, if you're making a long-term move like that, you really just have to look at your own personal conviction and who you think is best suited for the longest standing success. So I would say it's close here, and I would consider it, but I think for the immediate future, I'm still rolling with C-Mac. Chat, what do you think? CMC, Hall, Bijan in a keeper league. All right, into the 6th round. How's everyone out there feeling? By the way, what I'll do is at the end of the draft, I'll go through each team. So you guys don't need to ask for team reviews. I'm just going to go in order down the draft board. I'll do all you guys first, and I'll do my team last so I can get to you guys quicker. And yeah, so just stick around at the end of the draft, and I'll go over every team. We'll get Pete's input and be good. Yeah, I think I usually have the timer set to 1 minute, but we're at 1.5 minutes. Tamon coming down the wire goes Najee. All right, so let's see. Andrea says CMC. It's definitely close between those three. So with the Jalen Warren injury, and that's really it. In your guys' minds, how much higher does this make you on Najee Harris? Najee drafted, so I feel like we can talk about Najee now. I was actually interested to see where Najee went tonight. And he goes right after Aaron Jones, Walker, and Monty. All right, any fantasy football topics, questions you guys have, throw them in the live chat as well. I'm going to zone in here for a second. Figure out who I'm going to draft. How do you guys feel with me going Ayuk over Debo in general, and then me going Ayuk over some of the other names at wide receiver on the board? Feel free to roast me.
I don't like it. You know where I stand on
Pete
IU.
was going to come in here.
I don't trust IU, but again, I hate the 1-2. I hate the 1-2. So
it's just like it's a hard spot at wide receiver there.
And the board did not do you any favors tonight, I don't think.
I was just wishing Henry was going to fall. I would have been ecstatic. I did not think I was going to get him. This is a tough pick. There's like 5 players that I really like right here that I know won't come back to me. Yeah, this is a tough pick right here. But I feel like I have to pick DeAndre Swift. I feel like I have to.
It's your guy. You need running backs.
Yeah. I like Mostert, who just went. I like him a lot right here. And that's interesting because I thought maybe it's better to go with another position and try and push Swift because Emil already has 2 running backs and is light elsewhere. But then Emil goes running back at the 6-12. So, but yeah, I think Mostert's a fine pick here. There's other names at running back I like here. But my conundrum is there's a couple wide receivers that I really like right here. And I know like by the time I pick at 8-11, there's just such a significant teardrop at wide receiver. It's not even funny. All right, well, I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson here, but there's literally like 4 other players right there that I really, really like. A lot of different directions I could have gone there. But full PPR double flex for me. having 5 wide receivers through the first 7 rounds, having that extra one on the bench makes me feel good. Jacob says Team 11 is looking good. Jealous whoever's team that is. It's my team. Not a bad start. Get your QB locked up. RB1, RB2.
Shouldn't have told us.
3 good wide receivers. Honestly, if you hadn't, I'm not. I mean, I'm not.
I would have assumed, but it would have been funny.
Yeah. Taylor, I got sniped on Ridley and Godwin. Had no clue what to do. Not gonna lie. Oh, when you went Najee. Yeah, Godwin or Ridley there would have been good. All the wide receivers in the 6, good value.
Mm-hmm.
See, Worthy got it to 6.1.
Kirk.
And honestly, the wide receivers in the 5th, all good values there too.
Except for Rashee Rice.
Well, that's debatable. Debatable. But it's been a solid draft so far, guys. I'm excited to go over the teams at the end. I love that I'm getting a notification on my phone for every pick.
That's always fun.
Yeah. But that happens during the mocks, I guess, as well. So
I have notifications turned off.
Yeah, I probably should. I just feel like with
you got a million leagues and stuff.
I know, yeah. Something pressing happens. I need to be there. All right, middle of the 7th. So we've got what? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more picks, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I was really torn on going Zamir White or DeAndre Swift, or just going Zamir White over Deontay Johnson there. That was a big conundrum. I think I feel safer with Zamir White as an RB2 than Swift for sure. But I don't know. I just felt like my gut was saying Zamir White. My heart was saying go Swift. That's been my guy all off season. Zamir White has been too, but it's like I feel like it's just wrong if I don't go Swift there. Who am I?
That's true.
He fell against ADP as well. I was wondering when Addison would go. He goes to Anthony. That makes sense. You and Anthony are Vikings representatives. He also is JJ.
Well, I'm the anti-Vikings representative. I refuse to draft Vikings players.
He's put in the chat, I have a Vikings theme team on accident. I thought you were a Vikings fan, Anthony. Are you not? Maybe he's just doing it for Pete.
Sam Darnold QB2. I like it. That's the pick.
I mean, behind Stroud. Brian asks, how do you think the Lamb situation will shake out? I mean, I honestly think by the start of the season, everything will be resolved with Lamb, with Ayuk. Hopefully, I actually think the least likely deal to get done is Jamar Chase. Just because he's not actually on the last year of his contract.
It's a year early.
Yeah, exactly. So
especially when you look at CD and
yeah,
Jefferson. But I get it. Amon-Ra got paid. Same draft class.
Yep. It's just way too costly for players to hold off or hold out into the regular season. I know he declined the latest offer. Which that is a little bit more concerning for me.
He's another guy who wants 10% more than Jefferson.
Yeah,
as a starting point, because they have a very much a rivalry with each other.
Yeah, and I think him getting paid as a number 2 wide receiver in the NFL makes perfect sense. You know, I mean, he's still. The fact that JJ only played 10 games last year and had over 1,000 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, was still a top 35 fantasy wide receiver.
That's pretty. I mean, he was on pace for 2K to start the season easily.
I really wish that the Vikings stayed healthy last year. You probably wish more than me.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would have had a better year.
Yeah. But yeah, that fact concerns me more than anything because I think some of the early reports on Lamb were that he, as long as he was the number 2 in the NFL, he was okay with taking the contract. So that's a little bit more concerning.
Mhm.
Maybe he wants to get moved. Then maybe they sign Parsons and Dak. I don't know. I feel like if they don't get a deal done with Lamb, they're not going to re-sign Dak. They're just going to hit the
Reset. I don't know. They said the Dak deal is close,
okay. Yeah,
or at least positive. Like it's in a positive. The Dak deal is going the best out of the 3 contract discussions.
that is interesting because
That would have been the one I thought wouldn't have happened.
right. And that's like in terms of all the reporting, which is a lot of the time just smoke, anyways. That's like where people have been like, the Dak one's definitely not going to get done. But who knows anything, anyways. So yeah, we'll see. What do you guys think in the chat? James says Sutton as a wide receiver 2's crazy. We'll see how it shapes out. Not allowed to comment quite yet.
Go.
But Sutton is the GOAT. I mean, it's my guy. So we'll see. Caleb, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I can't wait to see the Bears play. I mean, they played today. Are you going to one of the games?
Fake team. Not good.
Just waiting for Pete to chime in. Let's see. I'm cruising through the draft board here. It's been an interesting draft.
Like you said, going to be different than all the mocks, and it's been different.
It always is. Just a tad bit, nothing too great. I just think you have people like take
their guy. They take
right.
Their guy.
You don't want to see your player fall ever in a real draft. And when the stakes are higher, it's like you are less likely to try and make a push. I'm not gonna lie, I went into this draft with no plan at all. I mean, I've been mocking and drafting all off season, so I guess that's my plan.
That's a plan.
Who do the Bears play week 1? They're at home against Tennessee.
Yeah.
At Houston, at Indy, Rams, Panthers, Jags, all at home.
Soft schedule to start.
Those are going to be 6 very telling games, though. 2 rookie wide receivers gone here in the 6th or 8th. Sorry. I'm excited to see the Bears play and DeAndre Swift ball out. That's all I know. It's my guy.
20 touches a game.
As long as he gets the receiving work, I'm okay. There are some very interesting players on the board. Caleb, you got any fantasy questions? Let us know. Any burning dynasty questions? Let us know. Pray, I agree with the Sutton's comment that he's the GOAT or
wide receiver 2.
It's a wide receiver 2. I mean, if you're going to go 0 wide receiver, I think he's a decent target in that range for sure. What time is tomorrow's draft? 10:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Never. Don't watch.
Tomorrow's going to be a banger. I'm excited.
Just wait till you see my outfit.
Oh gosh. Are you wearing? I won't say anything.
I'm wearing something.
I'll let it be the.
I'll have clothes. I will have clothes on.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I still like Sutton as ADP. Well, we'll see how Emil's team turns out. Do you think Amari Cooper and Ridley will be good this year? Yeah, I think both will be perfectly fine. I think both have high ceilings. Will have a good enough floor. I'm okay with both.
I don't
Maybe he
know.
gets,
Brown's offense was pretty bad this week, I heard, during practice. First teams
yeah,
were pretty awful.
you might get some inconsistency because of the quarterback play for both these guys, but they'll be fine. I mean, you're not drafting Cooper to be your wide receiver one. Like, you're drafting him, and he goes in the 5th round tonight. He's a flex play. You saw it last year. Has a high ceiling.
Win the league.
Everyone points to the 51.5-point game in week 16, but 20 points in week 15, 24 in week 9, 24 in week 3, 16 in week 2. He's a frustrating player, but at the range he goes in drafts, he's fine. Fine flex player. Ridley will be fine. With D-Hop there, I was a little bit more worried about Ridley, but Ridley will be okay. I feel like Emil has had the 1.1 2 years in a row. I honestly don't remember. And I mean, every draft or every league is random every year, except for League One. I try to keep together, but usually we have like one person leave each year. It's been the theme there. So, Emil, did you have the 1.1 last year? Do you remember? Thoughts on Zamir White? I mean, I love Zamir White at his ADP. Still heartbroken I passed on him tonight, but yeah, he's going to be a workhorse running back. He's the RB1 in that offense. That offensive philosophy is run the football first. When he was the RB1 on that team last year, 17.5, 14.5, 15.6, 13.1 were his fantasy lines. So I have no fear of Zamir White. I'll tell you guys right now, I'm stuck with 2 really tough picks again. There's just tremendous value on the board right now. I'm going to be faced with a really, really tough decision in a second here.
Or an easy decision.
That's true. Cooper going to be a wide receiver 1. I mean, he might be. Like, I won't be surprised. He finished as last year. Wide receiver 20. So, depends on how you look at it, but very close. Oh, God. This is so tough.
Well, don't say anything because you might get them both.
No, I mean, the problem is, once again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players 9 players that I really, really like right here. I'm just not passing on Hollywood Brown in the 8th, even already having Rashee Rice. Just way too much upside. And I'm loaded at wide receiver at the moment, but I will say I'm very tempted to go wide receiver again here. But I feel like I need a little bit of upside at running back because I'm going to be thin. So I'm going to go Jonathan Brooks here. But those were tough picks. But yeah, I mean, if Xavier Worthy falls in the draft, I will not pass on Xavier Worthy. I almost went Worthy at 6.11. Or I almost went Rice at 4.11, Worthy at 5.2. And I'm glad I didn't because Hollywood there, I'm okay with that. So there we go. Two injured players to add to my roster.
It's okay.
Auto picked it Anthony wrong. You guys tied in 1. I know we lost Anthony. Anthony, are you alive? Do you like Marvin Mims as a late round flyer? He's okay. Yeah, the Broncos wide receiver room has been kind of weird to monitor this offseason. I mean, Sutton's the guy. He's a wide receiver 1. But, like, we haven't really seen anything out of Troy Franklin. Tim Patrick's got a little bit involved. And then we've seen more work out of Marvin Mims than Franklin. So I think Mims is okay if you believe in that offense and everything. Yeah. So Jamison Williams goes at the 9.4. That was the player that I was like, one of the players, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is. It maybe makes more sense for my roster to go JMO and diversify away from the Chiefs' offense since I had Rashee Rice, and I really like JMO in this range. I think it's a great pick for J Fitness there, but I still think this Chiefs offense is going to be ridiculous. Mark Cooper was a wide receiver 8 and non-DTR in a non-DTR Walker games last year. Smash at ADP. Yeah, I was really close to going Cooper into the 4th, beginning of 5th as well. Like Cooper and Higgins in that range, McLaurin, Flowers even just feel like steals. Do you think McBride could fall to round 6? Where do you see his ADP settling? Maybe.
I think 5 is probably about right.
I agree. Because this is Kelsey went in the 3rd. Laporta lasted the 4.9. It really just depends on your league. Like wide or tight end value is so weird in a lot of leagues. I agree with Pete though. I think McBride just consistently has been drafted over Andrews, Kincaid, Pitts throughout the whole off season. That I think that's where you'll see.
And I think it's like McBride, Andrews, Kincaid, and like that bunch right there. We see that a lot.
Yeah.
McBride and Andrews in particular tend to go like right next to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, like we see tonight. And then Pitts goes at 512. You see him last a little bit longer at most mocks, but I also don't like he's a name that I just think will get locked up in some leagues for sure, like Mr. Sarcastic does here. So Ingram went a little bit earlier, which does not surprise me. And still, Ingram at the 7.9 is like just ridiculous value. How do you guys feel about Njoku? From what I recall, Watson doesn't look his way. It's really, I think Njoku's fine. Like you look at his ADP, he goes in the 8th round tonight. Njoku's fine where he gets drafted, 100%. But it's really weird to look at last year and try and gauge David Njoku. The really high ceiling games all came from Joe Flacco. Then he had a decent floor throughout the rest of the season. I mean, he was still the tight end 6 last year. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double-digit games with a mixture of quarterbacks, right? Then you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single-digit games. So, I mean, I think he's fine. I think he could be a top 10 tight end this year. You know, I'm not like reaching for him, but where he goes in drafts doesn't really worry me. Jake the Snake finally goes. That was another player. If there wasn't a lot of wide receiver and running back value on the board with my last 2 picks, I had in my mind like I'm going Jake Ferguson if he's here. And Jake Ferguson in the 9th round is like wild to me.
That's a good pick. I like that.
For sure. I was wondering when Kittle was going to go. If Kittle,
I like that even more.
Yeah. Those two, I was like, if either of those players make it back to me at the 10-11, I'm going to be ecstatic that I went Hollywood and Jonathan Brooks and took some risk here. But great picks for Chunk and Jacob there. I mean, just great picks. That is the value I expect in a catch fam draft at tight end. Who do you like more, Knicks or Levis in Dynasty? I'll say Levis for now. Like I think he's a little bit more set up for success. So I'll say Levis for now. Knicks is an interesting guy. We got to see Nixon. Like that's the thing. Like it's not like Levis has been lights out in real action, but we've seen him in real action, and the Titans are rolling.
He played actual football last year and looked like he could play football.
Yeah, there are like times it was not so great, but then there are times like even if it wasn't great, he's still leading his team to win. So like that's good long term. Like the Dolphins game comes to mind. I don't even know.
He played good in the Houston game too. They lost, but he played good.
Dolphins game where they came back and won. They had 17 fantasy points. That was actually his second best performance. I think it was that good, but yeah, I mean, like we had that big game against Atlanta, and then I don't know why we just never saw that happen again. Like 4 touchdowns. Then yeah, Houston was not bad the week after Miami, 15 points, rushing touchdown.
Threw a couple. I think he threw a late pick. I think.
Threw a pick in both the week 14 and 15 game, but I think the big thing is like the Titans are like they're giving Levis a chance for sure. Like they put everything they could around him this offseason. And it's not to say that maybe
they massively upgraded around.
Yeah. I mean, they lose Henry. That stinks, but it's not to say that maybe Bo Nix doesn't show enough this year that the Broncos do the same next offseason. But for now, I'll go Levis. Taylor says, I told myself you wouldn't take Hollywood and come back to me. Nah, Hollywood in the 8th, I will take all day long. There's just some guys, like, I will say this whole draft has been very difficult for me. Like, I'm getting faced with very tough decisions. So, Prey says, even though you go over all of them, I just love using this emoji. And Joki was tied in 1 from week 7 on as well. So basically, we just need Boston to not completely blow. What could go wrong?
Well, thanks, Cats. I was about to say, well, yeah. I mean, he did a sideline interview today, and he just, I don't know. He sounds so bad. I'm pretty sure he was looking for a massage from the sideline reporter, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. He sounds like a guy who does not care about football. He's just kind of there, making $230 million.
We've seen that throughout a few interviews. Man, I was hoping for Gus the Bus here. It's a good pick for Jay Fitness. He needs the RB3. But man, I was hoping my boy would be there. This is another weird pick. I just don't need to go wide receiver. Tight end is like fine right here. Running back is weird. But I guess taking the going Brock Purdy here. I just tough spot to be in. All right, I mean, I think Benson and Charbonnet are fine here. But I think the smartest move is go Chuba Hubbard because we have Brooks, and then I can throw Chuba out there first thing. So weird picks again. There's a lot of directions. Like there's still a lot of really good wide receivers here, but once again, I mean, I already have 6 wide receivers, I think, that are all start worthy. So, whew. All right, you either have 4 picks or you have 3 picks. These are the most important picks. If Dobbs had fell there, I would probably take Dobbs at 10, 11. If Gus was there, I would have definitely taken Gus. Yeah, Kittle fell far. And I mean, his ADP is like 56 on Sleeper. Felt like 5 rounds. What would be your strategy for ESPN leagues where running backs get pushed up so high? I'm inclined to take wide receivers every round due to the value, but then I end up with like no running backs. Just go hero running back. If you feel like there's good value at wide receiver, just go hero running back and roll from there. You know, lock up a lot of that good value at wide receiver and go from there. Well, I mean, yeah, I have seen some of the ADPs for ESPN, and it's a little wild. Depends on where you're drafting from as well, Kobe. Tandem running back season. Are you in League 2, Cameron? All right, I'm going to set a
No,
queue.
I don't think so. I don't think Cameron's in that league.
Might be in League 4. By the way, guys, I do have 4 spots open for League number 5, $20 buy-in. Same format as this, full PPR, double flex. If you want in another league or your first catch league of the year, let me know. Throw it in the chat. Cameron is, that's what I thought. He is in League 2.
He is in League 2? I thought I looked last night. Damn it. Come on. It's killing me. Can't keep track of all these dogs in there.
League 2 is, all the leagues are.
He definitely is. Yeah, he's picking in front of me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all the leagues are stacked, but League 2 is.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I know what Cameron's doing. So he's taking a wide receiver. The first 3 rounds. He's taking 3
completely random, but when I looked at League 2, I was like, man, this league's got some dogs. For sure.
It's fixed.
Yeah, it might be.
I call shenanigans.
First come, first serve. All right, this is an interesting team for myself tonight.
Different.
I still feel bad for passing on Samir White. I was wondering when Brock Bowers was going to go. That was another one of my conundrums. I thought about going Brock Bowers, the 10-11 or 11-2, who I never draft. You know, I feel like there are 1 or 2 of you who always mock like the opposite of what you're actually going to do and just never say anything. So maybe Cameron's tandem RB thing is just a scam. Tommy says League 2 bringing the heat. We shall see. James not a fan of the 1.5. We'll find out. League 1 is always stacked. Yeah. League 1 is basically still everyone who's in the first ever Catch Fam League is still in that league, I think. Yeah. That league does scare me. I was like really bad in that league I'm like always bad in League 1. Jacob says, when I saw Kittle on the board in the 10th, I had to Google Kittle injury. I mean, you know, usually in a draft, there's always one player who falls back. Taylor says, I didn't go RB in round 1 in a single mock. Went Brees at the 1.5. Honestly, I think Brees is going to have a studly year. Brees, Bijan, if you guys draft them earlier than their ADP, I can't really blame you. What's up, Mr. Skurs? League 1 are the top dogs with Jerry. Jerry's going strong. Jerry and Steven, never see them in the chat or anything anymore, but they're still here. Steven says that he has 2 sleeper accounts, 1 under 2 emails, and the catch leagues are under his second email. So that's why he's never in the sleeper chat anymore. But he said during the regular season he'll be back. And if you guys are wondering where Steven is. All right, 2 more picks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Let's do it. So we're over an hour, a minute and a half timer. I think that's probably fair. Probably fair. Maybe what I'll do tomorrow, first 7 rounds, be 13 rounds total. So maybe the first 7 rounds I'll do a minute and a half. Last 6 rounds we'll do 1 minute. Never stop bullying Steven, guys. I was wondering when Datavion Wicks was going to go. He goes at the 11-12. I almost took Wicks over a quarterback at 10-11. But I just do not need any more wide receivers on this team. There goes Ray Davis. I think the last 2 rounds are going to be really interesting here.
Very.
Freiermuth gone to Chunk. Chunk usually drafts 2 tight ends, so that does not surprise me. We do have IR spots. I think it's just set to 1. I think I usually just limit it at 1. Let me double check. If there's more, I'll leave it. Hold on. Oh, I need to go over free agent bidding and how that works. All right, there's 2 IR spots, so 2 IR. There's no defense or kickers last year either. I just took them out. We're pros here. We don't need defense and kickers. But we will be making defense and kicker videos throughout the year. I'm still in at least one league that has a defense and kicker spot. All right, so free agent bidding. Prey asked me to go over this because he's never been in a league with it. So basically, it's really simple. You're going to start the year with $200. That's your budget. That's your entire money for the year for waivers. So week 1, there's no waiver like order or rolling order. Doesn't matter if you won week 1 or if you lost week 1. Everyone's starting at a clean slate on the waivers. And let's say Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, and Zach Moss. I don't remember when Zach Moss became a thing last year, but they're all on the waiver. And I think Puka Nacua, who just got drafted? So I love Anthony. I think Puka Nacua is going to absolutely ball out for the rest of the year. You can put $150 down on Puka Nacua after week 1, which I don't think anyone really even did that last year, even as good as he looked. But people did put down like 40 or 50. Like you just got to kind of figure out how much money you want to spend at, the position and or on each player. But I don't know if I'm explaining this well at all, but you're only going to have $200 for the whole year. So when I said you can put in waivers for $0, that means like just because you run out of money does not mean that you can't put in waivers. So like it's weeks 14, 13, 12, week 12, and you've spent all your free agent bidding. It doesn't matter. Like you can still put in waivers and fight for players. You just have a less likely chance of getting them if other people are putting in bids with actual money. But I would say like most people on a weekly basis are spending like 10, 12, 15 amounts like that. And then when there's a player that comes on scene that is maybe worth like there's a really like I don't like Gus Edwards last year or Zach Moss or Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb got hurt, whatever. Then you might see someone drop like 40, 50, 60. And then some teams just go super aggressive after one player. So hopefully that made sense. I can clarify more. There won't be any defense and kicker. I don't know why those are showing for the other leagues, but I'll change that. Yeah, no defense or kicker for any of the leagues. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flex, 5 bench spots. And that's what we did last year as well. So I'll make sure it's fixed. My bad, guys, if you were thinking that. Never done free agent bidding. I don't even know how much a player go for, just rolling with it. I mean, it'll be fine. After like the first 2 or 3 weeks, you won't even think about it. Makes things a lot more simple, honestly. Because people debate between rolling waivers or whatever priority waiver, whatever it is. So I've had people get upset before. With free agent bidding, it's just kind of like it is what it is. You either got the player or you didn't. Best tip I'll give you guys who are new to free agent bidding is, and this is a secret, but I don't care. It's not really a secret. But what smart people do is don't bid on a player for like $10 or $20. Bid $11. Bid $21.
Awkward odd numbers. Got it.
Yeah, because then like if someone is bidding $20, which seems like an even amount. You're more likely to beat someone by $1. So keep that in mind. All right, final round, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting draft. I wasn't fully expecting to get TJ Hawkinson. I'm happy with Schultz behind him, though. I think I'm okay with landing those two, even though I passed on Ferguson and Kittle. Pete, I drafted a Viking player for you.
Who? Hawk. That's a good pick in this. 2 IR spots.
Got Hawk. Let's go. So
Anthony with Kanewanwu, he's really buying the hype that he's going to take Chandler's spot.
Very, very Anthony pick. I appreciate. I don't know the word for that, but I appreciate it. I'll have to check because like waivers should not be open when the draft ends. So if it's just letting you guys, I'll check as soon as the draft ends. Like if it's just going to let people add players, like I'll have to lock it and make sure it's set for the appropriate time. And it should, because it's free agent bidding, it should be just preset anyways. But like we had it happen in like the dynasty leagues where like right after the rookie draft, like people just go through and like start dropping and moving players and adding players. And so we don't want that. But I'll check in a second. Here we got one more pick, and it's Trey Tucker. Who am I playing week 1? Tamone. All right, let me just make sure waivers are good here. Yeah, they're good. I think. It hasn't even updated. Like it hasn't processed the draft yet. All right, now it has. Okay, it's like, okay, they're good. So yeah, we can't just add players. Okay, it says the first cycle is tomorrow, which is I guess makes sense so that you can add players before a Sunday game. Okay, I'll double check it later, but might be a slight adjustment after I double check it. We'll find out. Okay, let's go over some teams. It's going to be interesting. Great draft. Thank you guys so much for being a part of one of the catch leagues this year. It's going to be a great season. Let's take a look. All right, Emil from the 1-1. We got Lamar and Goff, Kelsey and Kmet, C-Mac, Connor, Mostert, Ford, Evans, Sutton, Myers, Judy, Thielen. So it's like a hero wide receiver team. Running backs are fine. I think with C-Mac as your RB1, Connor, Mostert, Ford is fine. There's players I prefer over Connor, but if that's your guy, that's fine. Wide receivers are going to be tough. I mean, I think Myers, Judy, Thielen are fine when you drafted them, but this is a team where you might be flexing 2 running backs. And like I like Evans and Sutton, but I'm going to have to see what type of ceilings we get out of them. The other thing is, I mean, it's always like in theory okay to draft a second quarterback because of injuries, but if I spend a 5th round on Lamar, I'm probably not drafting Goff in the 9th. I mean, Goff may have lasted to like the 10-12, 11-1. Daniels went a little early. That probably would have helped because Goff's ADP is after Purdy. So I would have taken like Jameson Williams, Dobbs, Lockett, Palmer, whoever you prefer right there. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like Goff hasn't been a top 10 QB the last 2 years, but let's see. They're starting Lamar, Kelsey, C-Mac, Connor, Evans, Sutton. Then your flex is really Mostert, Ford, Myers, maybe Judy or Thielen. I think personally, I would set my week 1 lineup right now as Mostert and Ford in the flex. Now, drafting Kmet, I think, was fine. Like, he's a good value in the 13th, even though you got Kelsey in the 3rd. I would have just gone receiver over Goff for sure with this type of strat. But yeah, that's what we see in real drafts. I mean, people are going to go out and get who they want, not try and push them. So it'll be interesting. I think you were saying in the chat you're going to work the trade discussions a bit. All right, Spanky from the 1-3. We got Burrow. So Burrow goes in the 6. I think worth noting. A-Rich and Kyler in the 8th. So I do think you'll see drafters this year have a lot of confidence in Burrow. Bowers and Goddard made out kind of fine with that late round tight end strat. Henry, Pollard, Brian Robinson, Chubb. I'm okay with this as a hero RB build for sure. Players I prefer over Chubb, but plenty of you guys have conviction in Chubb there. It's fine. Lamb, Debo, Higgins, Cooper is just loaded, especially with Henry. Dobbs is great in the 10th, and I like Mooney in the 13th. So, yeah, I like this team. Chubb is the only guy I'm not really in on. I think tight end will work out. And it's like you're going to throw Chubb on the IR anyways and go after someone. So, I mean, you're starting Burrow, Henry, Pollard, Lamb, Debo, Higgins, Cooper, one of these two tight ends. Good bench options at running back, good bench options at tight end and receiver. Solid. J Fitness. Prescott in the 8th all day long. Goes. So here's your Laporta team. Laporta at the 4-9. Laporta was the second tight end gone in this draft. Kelsey still ends up as a tight end 1 in this draft. Pacheco, Ramondre, Gus Bus, Trey Benson, Algier. I think Ramondre ends up as a really good value in the 7th. I think that you got a bit of a steal with getting Gus Edwards as late as you got him. Basically a hero RB team here. Ramondre in the 7th, great. Chase, Olave, McLaurin, Allen, still a good start there, even going Laporta in the 4th. J-Mo was a tremendous value, and I like Pop Douglas in the 13th, so pretty good draft here. Prescott, Laporta, Pacheco, Ramondre, Chase, Olave, McLaurin, Allen. Solid starting roster. J-Mo and Douglas I like on the bench. Gus, a good option on the bench. Then you got 2 handcuffs and Benson and Algier. So solid draft. Getting Olave at the 3-4, I think is. I mean, I passed on Olave, and we'll see how that works out. So good value. Taymone. Got the Kyler and Trey McBride stack. Hall, Najee, Spears, Chandler, Braylon Allen. So this is really a hero RB team. I mean, I think I'm okay with Najee here in the 6. And I'm okay if you don't prefer Swift there, but I feel better about Ramondre, Zamir White, or Mostert, but I'm okay with Najee there too. I'm not going to knock it. Spears I really like in the 9th. Wide receivers look good. Collins, Waddle, Neighbors, Dunze. Still banking a lot on those rookies. Shakir and Downs, fine. No Downs going to miss time. Get a piece of that Buffalo Bills offense. So we're going to start Kyler, McBride, Brees, Najee, Collins, Waddle, Neighbors, Rome. That's the only thing is like I just get a little shaky about these 2 rookies, and this might take time for them to really get going. But it does look like Caleb and Rome Odunze have a bit of a connection, so not bad. First 3 picks I really like. Got the Kyler and McBride stack. Should be solid all year. All right, praise at the 1-6. Reached a little on Jaden Daniels. I like that. Someone had to do it. I will say if Daniels fell to the 10-11 range, I would have gone double quarterback. I would have gone like Purdy and Daniels. But I feel like if you didn't go Daniels, you would have gone Purdy anyways. So I would have gone like Daniels, Tua. Andrews a tight end. A-Chain, White, Eckler, Charbs, Amon-Ra, Cup, Metcalf. This Your first 7 picks were really nice. Godwin, D Hop, Shaheed Davis. This is an interesting team. It's a very prey team. Starting Daniels, Andrews, A-Chain, White, St. Brown, Cup, Metcalf, Godwin. It could be a scary starting lineup right there. Decent bench. I mean, I know Shaheed's a little banged up, but I still like him a lot in the 12th. D-Hop, I probably would have passed on, especially with Hollywood there and J-Mo. You get more upside out of those guys, especially if you're going to pick someone who's going to miss time. Although I guess technically they're saying he could be back by week 1, but I go Hollywood. But that might just be me. I don't know. I think if you go, I mean, you already had Amon-Ra. I could see why maybe you passed on J-Mo, but if you got Hollywood right there, I think this team just on upside alone, crazy. All right, well, I don't know what Anthony did, but he's got Stroud and Herbert, fine. And Njoku, fine. Etienne White, Aaron Jones. Anthony is a Vikings fan. I do know that for sure. Remember that.
He'd have to be to draft Kanewamu.
Yeah. No, I remember because he has a Vikings. He had a Vikings Instagram page at a time. So these last 2 picks are like, J.J. Pickens, Addison Lockett, Curtis Samuel. I mean, you'll be playing the waiver with this team for sure. But this is a very Anthony draft. Stroud and Njoku, Etienne White, J.J. Pickens. You're probably flexing Aaron Jones and, I mean, theoretically Addison. But Lockett and I think Lockett and Curtis Samuel really help this team. You're going to need those guys to hit. Anthony will be playing the waivers, but this team is okay. But I'm not drafting. I'm not trying to draft 3 players from any offense unless it's like the Niners, Eagles, Cowboys, Rams, Chiefs, like team that's I feel is going to score Dolphins a lot of points this year.
I'm not drafting 3 skill position players. You might draft a quarterback and 2 guys. Or,
yeah.
I'm not trying to draft 4 skill guys.
This will be an interesting experiment for sure. I appreciate the creativity. Anthony usually brings a little juice to the draft. All right, we got Hustle for it, Kennel. Allen and Kincaid got the stack here. Bijan and Kyron. I just think about the upside alone. How many teams? Only 2 teams went double hero running back in the first 2 rounds. Bijan and Kyron is massive. Yeah. Chase Brown, Corum, Jalen Wright. Yeah, I mean, this is a true double hero running back team. Smart to get Corum. I like Chase Brown in the 9th. Smith, Ridley, B. Tom, Coleman, Leggett, Cooks. Yeah, I mean, the upside on this team is obviously at running back, but at quarterback and tight end too. So starting Allen, Kincaid, Bijan, Kyron, Devonta, Ridley. You definitely need Ridley to hit. And then I think the flex is kind of up in the air. You got B. Tom, you got Coleman. I get a little worried about drafting 2 wide receivers to be starters in the flex. You know what I mean? It just sometimes takes time to get going, and then sometimes you get it's an extreme example, but sometimes you get a Quentin Johnston, you know. Cook's a little banged up. He'll probably be fine. You got Leggett here too. Like, I'm just going to diversify. Like, you got to choose between B. Tom and Coleman. Who do you like more? Maybe I go Watson at the 7-8, then Coleman at the 8-5, then at the 11-8 I go like Wicks or just a veteran. Like, maybe get like a combination of Cooks and Shaheed with these 2 picks. That make me feel a little bit better. Running backs I'm okay with because you came out and got Bijan and Kyron right out the gate. So, but yeah, I mean, your upside's at quarterback, tight end, running back, and still think Devonta Smith is perfectly fine. Smith and Ridley's fine. All right, Kyrie's at the 1-9. A-Rich and Tua. Smart. Get someone behind Tua. Ingram, beautiful in the 7th. Kamara, Walker, 2 good values. Zeke, Dobbins, Mitchell. It's fine. AJ Brown, Adams, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed. Nice. Mitchell, fine in the 10th. So we're starting A-Rich, Ingram, Kamara, Walker, AJ Brown, Adams, DJ Moore, Jaden Reed. I mean, that starting lineup's really good. Not crazy about the bench here. I think Tua's perfectly fine. Honestly, if Tua lasted to the 12th, end of the 12th, I probably would have considered going double QB. But, I mean, the starting lineup's super solid. You had a lot of really good value through the first 8 rounds. See what you get out of Zeke. This team's fine. Not my favorite bench, but the team's fine. All right, be like Chunk. Usually has an interesting draft. He goes double quarterback and double tight end. Hurts and Caleb Williams. Fergie and Freiermuth. I mean, I'm personally not going to take 2 of each of those positions, but it's especially if I get a guy like Hurts. I mean, Caleb has looked really good, but it's like I feel like he's going to ride your bench other than your bye week unless you get a major injury to Hurts. Ferguson and Freiermuth, I mean, a 9th and 12th round pick doesn't, the draft capital is not as high. Jacobs, Monty, Javante, just 3 running backs. Be hitting the waivers, but I like where you got all 3 of those guys. Garrett Wilson, MH Jr., Kirk, Watson, good value wide receiver through the first 7. Palmer's fine where you got him. Randall Robinson, fine where you got him. This is still a good team. Starting Hurts, Fergie, Jacobs, Monty, Garrett Wilson, MH Jr., Kirk, and Watson. You do have a good bench, even though it has a quarterback and a tight end. You've got upside with Palmer and Randall Robinson on the bench. Like Javante a lot. Sometimes it's okay just to draft a team that gives you the best chance at success throughout the whole season. This is fine for a 1 quarterback redraft league. If I get Hurts, I'm probably not taking a second QB. All right, Jacob at the 111. We got Mahomes steal the draft with George Kittle. Ben Sennett. Why not? Gibbs and Cook, I just love James Cook as RB2 this year, especially behind a running back who has pass catching upside like Gibbs. I just think that's huge. Zach Moss, Jalen Warren still gets drafted in the 9th here. Ray Davis, kind of handcuff Cook there. Puka, Diggs, Flowers, Ladd, Mike Williams. Not bad. Mahomes, Kittle, Gibbs, Cook, Puka, Diggs, Flowers. And you figure out that last bench spot, whether it's Ladd or Moss or Warren. Good enough bench players here. It's a good team. A lot of good drafting tonight, guys. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of upside. You figure out that final bench or flex spot. Solid team. All right, Mr. Sarcastic also goes double here running back. He's got Jordan Love. I was wondering when Love was going to go. I thought about going Love at the 9-2. I think Love is a great value at the end of the 9th. Pitts. Lock Pitts up a little bit early, but I'm not against it. So JT Barkley, Singletary, Dowdle. I think Singletary and Dowdle are fine picks as your RB3 and 4 because JT and Barkley, wild upside. Pittman, Dell, Worthy. I love that you locked up Worthy too. JSN, a good value in the 7th. Wicks, Polk. I'm probably not drafting Trey Tucker, but that's fine too. The last pick, I'm not going to knock it. You're starting Love, Pitts, JT Barkley, Pittman, Dell, Worthy, JSN. Good bench. It's a solid team. A lot of good drafting tonight. I don't think anyone really had a bad draft except Anthony picking 2 random Vikings. Emil, I probably don't go Goff in the 9th there. A little light at wide receiver. I don't know. I pointed everything out. I mean, let's roast my team, and you guys tell me your least favorite part of my team, which is probably going to be DeAndre Swift. I just felt like I had to stand by my word. I feel, honestly, at this point, I think I feel better about Zamir White right there. And I like Mostert a lot. And I honestly thought Mostert would be there at the 7-2. I really went into that pick saying I can go Swift here and then go White or Mostert, and then I still went Deontay Johnson. I don't know. All right. This is like a light running back team. I'm going to be hitting the waivers. Well, I don't know. I'm going to be putting Brooks and Hawkinson on the on my IR right away. But I got Mixon, Swift, Brooks down the stretch. Chuba a little banged up. He's cleared for practice. He's my RB3. Went aggro at wide receiver, and honestly, I planned going wide receiver at the 4th, and I'm glad I didn't. So Kyrie went 3 wide receivers, really the only other team to do so. But then he went RB in the 4th and 5th. I went wide receiver in the 5th. He goes wide receiver in the 6th. I go RB in the 6th. Not really that different, but it's pretty similar. So Hill, London, Ayuk, Rice, Deontay, Hollywood. I love this wide receiver room. Got Purdy at quarterback, T. Hawkins, Schultz at tight end. I think there's definitely an argument for me to go Ferguson or Kittle in the 9th. I just feel like Brooks was a nice upside pick for down the stretch. So I'm okay with this team. Nothing crazy about it. I went into this draft with no strategy. Just I almost went Rashad White at the 3-2. He only goes 5 picks later. I consider Jacobs. But I just think too much value on the board at wide receiver. I could see, like, if you don't like Drake London here, fine. If you don't like Ayuk here, completely fine. This is a tough tier wide receiver. London, Evans, Ayuk, Debo, Olave, Waddle, Kupp, Smith, Moore, even Diggs, Pittman, Dell. Like that's just a tough stretch. A lot of close decisions. If Nico was there at the 211, I'd smash the draft button. But the Ayuk thing is a risk, but Ayuk was my guy last year, and I'll stick with it. I went Rice and Hollywood, a little risky. Hollywood in the 8th, I couldn't pass that up. So I'll be starting Purdy, Mixon, Swift, Hill, London, Ayuk, Rashid Rice. I think that's just a really solid bench. Deontay, Hollywood, Carolina's RB room. I'll be starting Schultz, and I get Hawk down the stretch. I'm okay with this. It'll do. I didn't really mean to end up drafting all the Panthers' important players, but go Dave Canales. All right, so Cameron likes the 1-4 and the 1-9. Both were good teams. Yeah, I think J Fitness got a lot of good value tonight. Kyrie had a really good start too. Like I said, not my favorite bench, but that core roster is super solid. James likes the 1-3. Yeah, Spanky had a good team. Man, I wanted Henry so bad there. Tamone. Honestly, there wasn't really any team we went over tonight that I disliked. Ramondre in that offense behind that O-line is a no for me. It's definitely fair, but he's going to get a lot of volume. Swift and Herbert seems like a headache situation. 100%. I'm all in on the headache. Can't tell if the look on Pete's faces of disgust at my team or amazement. Maybe both.
I don't know. I probably wasn't paying super much attention. Let me look. That's fine. I hate your quarterback. Bad. Jane Daniels not my kind of guy for a risk with that team. I like Amon-Ra. I like Cooper Kupp. I like DK. Tight end's a little high for me, but Mandrews is Mandrews. I like Godwin. I like White. I don't like Hopkins. Yeah, I don't like Eckler. Yeah, bench bad, starters good. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think Prey like super close to almost having like the best draft. I think,
and he's got to go with his boy A-Chain. He's A-Chain,
yeah,
guy.
I think if you go Hollywood in the 8th here, I'm okay with Eckler there. If you prefer Chase Brown, maybe Dowdle, that's fine. Charbs was fine. Shaheed was fine. Then I think like if you go with one of the quarterbacks you didn't get drafted here, this team is pretty solid.
Yeah, like it's good.
A lot of
Jane
upside.
Daniels takes one hit. He's a one-hit guy.
I get that part.
That's scary. Don't do it. Scary.
Yeah, but the first I like
7
rounds are super solid for Prey.
I would have probably went Henry or Pacheco over A-Chain, but like I said,
Fair.
he's gonna go with his guy A-Chain. And maybe the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah. Prey definitely won a draft for upside though. But Amon-Ra, Cup, Metcalf, Godwin at that value for your first, your 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes, great. Zamir White, I just think as your RB2 is huge. I do agree. I'm probably drafting more Henry Pacheco over A-Chain, but it's like, and we know what we get with A-Chain. It's like the upside's there. This will be a very interesting team. Cameron is going double hero RB tomorrow.
Good, Cameron. Okay, at pick 5. All right, that's good for me. It means more wide receivers for me.
We'll see. Definitely a good draft. This is gonna be a good league. League number 2 is gonna be a good league too.
No, worse league, terrible league.
Chase says, I think that RB room can get you by. I hope so. I think this team is like super solid. I mean, I always say in these double flex leagues, you can see it work any type of way where running back depth ends up being the most important, being more important than wide receiver depth. But whenever it comes to draft day, I feel like I just end up going aggressive at wide receiver. Have a good night, Andrea. Thanks for hanging out. So, yeah, that'll do it. League number 3 is under wraps. If you guys have any questions about points, about scoring, about waivers, make sure you guys get them in, and we'll go from there. All right. I'm going to do an underdog draft because it's Saturday night. So bonus content for you guys.
I like that, Prey. League winner. Or league destroyer.
If you guys want me to pull up the draft or go over anything, let me know. Other than that, if you guys want to hop into an underdog draft with me, I'll enter a puppy at 11:35 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys got about 2 minutes. $5 entry, 20 seconds per pick. So bonus draft for you guys. But yeah, that was a good draft. That was intense. I think I feel pretty good about that team. I think it'll kind of big question for me will be quarterback and tight end. If those positions hit, I'll be in a good spot. And the best thing is I get to hit the waiver wire right away for 2 players. Hollywood's also, I mean, I did draft like 3 hurt players, but Hollywood, Hawkinson, Brooks, playing for the playoffs here. We'll see how it turns out. FRTFGTFFGCCVVG says, honestly, number 3 or 9 had the best team. Oh, I'm entering the lobby. 20 seconds per pick. Puppy. 10 spots. Get in the dang draft, people.
Get in the draft.
Get in the draft. Puppy. $5 entry.
Speaking of getting in the draft, I'm not getting in the draft, but I will be right back since I have to record a short.
BRB from
BRB boys.
BRB. By the way, I am in a ton of slow drafts right now. These are all the slow drafts I'm in right now. Trying to get my exposure switched up, trying to get in as many entries as possible. So let's go. All right, wait now. Now I'm struggling to find this draft. These are all. Wait, mini Schnauzer on the clock. Oh my gosh, I can't even find. Oh, here we go. was like, geez. All right. Let me know if you guys are in the draft. If not, we're just going to hang out, have some fun, talk some fantasy. We'll go from there. Tommy, yeah, it'll be 2 IR spots. I just wasn't sure if I had it set to 1 or 2, but it'll be 2. Since that league is 2, we'll just make it 2 for all of them. But all the leagues should have had the same. I just need to go through and check, but they should have all had the same settings. Because like when I make a league, I just repeat the settings from a previous league. So I will make sure that all the leagues have the same settings. Yeah, the fact that it said like one of the leagues had kickers and defenses. Yeah, it does. That's so weird to me. I feel like I checked that, but okay. I changed that, and then IR spots are at 2. So Jaden Daniels is my poor man Lamar Jackson. I mean, basically. No, I mean, I like the Daniels pick. I don't mind reaching for him, Pray.
Back. See? Look how quick I am. Professional.
That was super quick, dude.
Yeah, I'm professional.
I already have a trade in the catch league.
Jesus, guys. Chill. Chill, guys.
Christian Watson for Deontay Johnson.
Oh, I know that's tempting to you.
It is tempting to me. But I need more time to process everything. There's like, I don't know, there's a lot of good players out there on the waiver.
Oh, is this Trey Lance threw a touchdown pass, by the way?
Let's go, Trey Lance.
And he just scrambled for about 20 yards. He might be a GOAT. I don't know.
He is
Some are saying he's the GOAT.
I hate the 112 and the 111 right now.
Yeah, back into the draft.
Puka, MH Jr., Drake London, JT. Gibbs went at the 1-7. I like Gibbs at the end.
I'm okay. Yeah, well, I'm okay because I like going double running back. Like that's a good spot to go double running back at the 111.
Oh, I missed a pick. Okay, that's fine. I don't care.
Rip.
I was gonna go double. I was gonna go Barkley and JT.
Yeah,
I forgot it's 20 seconds. It's okay though. I don't mind having Puka there.
Holy smokes! Whatchamacallit just made a 66-yard field goal. Aubrey from Dallas. Holy shit! 66.
What's the record?
67. 68. Chucker has it. I think it's 68.
That is crazy.
That's lit. 66 in a preseason game.
Aubrey bad at some point last year?
No, he was good. No, he wasn't bad. I think he missed a kick or 2 kicks. He was
I'm thinking of
not bad.
The kicker before that for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he had literally the best rookie season of a kicker ever, Aubrey.
Tresner, what's up, homie? Aubrey's amazing. I'm thinking of whoever it was before him.
All of them. Oh, it is 66. 66 is the longest. So he just tied the NFL record, even though it doesn't count.
Dang. Longest preseason kick ever, maybe.
Maybe.
Should I trade Etienne and Fergie for Pickens and Smith? Completely depends on your roster. Completely depends on the roster here. What does that leave you at running back and tight end? How bad do you need the wide receivers? I mean, Smith for Etienne, I think is fair. Fergie for Pickens, I think is fair. But context really matters here. Redraft, dynasty, really depends on some factors. Got Zamir White and Brees that I think you can let go of Etienne, but how bad do you need the wide receivers, and what does it leave you at tight end? Already have Laporta. I mean, okay, yeah. You can do this trade if you feel good about it. You got to be sold on Zamir White, like I am personally, but you need to be as well. Bree says you're RB1, you're fine, but I do think as much as I like Zamir White, it's still a tier down at RB. You don't really need Ferguson on this team unless Laporta gets hurt. Then like you're in a great spot. But I think the trade in essence is fair. Dude, who's the Cowboys? The one who sucked in the playoffs but was good at fantasy.
There's a lot of bad ones. It's the Cowboys.
I got to figure it out. Brett Maher. That's who I'm thinking of.
Brett Maher.
Brett Maher was like great in fan. I remember him being in like all of Stevens Kickers videos, and then was so bad in the playoffs that he got cut in the offseason.
Oh yeah, he missed the 3 extra points, didn't he?
Yeah, the extra point, and even towards the end of the season, I think he was struggling.
It's the Cowboys for you.
Yeah,
I got no room to talk.
Value-wise, do you think the trade favors one another? I do. Like I said, I think Etienne versus Smith is fair. I'm really high on Devonta Smith, though. Always have been. Fergie Pickens is fair. If you feel like you need the wide receiver depth, I'm not against it. All right, so what I'm going to do this draft is I'm just going to alternate between positions because I don't do this a lot in Underdog. But Pacheco at the 4-1 is a steal. Shout out Greg Zuerlein. Who's your guys' favorite kicker who's ever been on your fantasy team? Throw them in the chat.
Kickers aren't people.
They might not be. Walter Picks Trade Analyzer has ET. I hate Walter Picks. Don't ever mention Walter Picks in my.
What's the beef with Walter Picks? I don't like him either, but
I cannot stand the way that they push their app. I hate seeing them in all of my feeds everywhere with just the worst trade analysis crap. I just hate them. I don't know why. I've never looked at their app. I don't really like trade analyzers in general. I think they're okay. Like if you're like really new to fantasy, you don't really have an idea. You're really new to trades. Like it gives you an idea. I will say like right now, based on ADP, ETN is still going in the second round, and like in a redraft format, you'll see like the draft we just went did ETN win at the 2-6. Smith went at the 3-8, which compared to mocks is slightly earlier. Sometimes Smith goes beginning of the 4th round, which I still think is crazy. So it makes sense that it's going to favor the ETN side. But really, when it comes down to trades, you really have to factor in your personal conviction. Yeah, and roster.
Your roster construction.
Have Ferguson over Pickens also makes sense because I don't know what they're ranking. They probably have Ferguson as like tight end 8, 9, or 10. Then Pickens gonna be way down on wide receivers, but it depends too. I'll ask you this question: is it a single flex or double flex league? Because if it's double flex, then I think there is a lot of value in getting Pickens and Smith because you're gonna start Laporta. I have high conviction in Zamir White. So if you lose ETN, it's not the end of the world for me. It's double flex. So yeah, I think what's your wide receiver room look like? Tresner says I can't stand London round 2. I just drafted him round 2 in a real draft.
You did.
I did. I'm gonna take some shots on him. You know, early in the offseason, he was going beginning of the second. He's pushed back a little bit. I feel like him and Olave have been the 2 highest fallers. Because Kyron's creeped back up. Collins has stayed pretty consistent. Waddle, you can see move sometimes, but Ayuk and Debo stayed pretty consistent. So really feel like London and Olave in terms of second round guys have moved the most. But I want some exposure to London. But every time I pick him, I do feel a little scared. We'll start the year off with the London pick. Once again, though, I even talked about that during the draft. It's a really tough tier of wide receivers to really narrow down there. Wow, it's been a heavy wide receiver draft. I mean, they usually are. All right, so I'll go Jaden Reed. I'll go Rashad White. We'll keep alternating here. So JT Pacheco, White, Puka, Dell, Reed. We'll take it. I have Collins, Watson. That's about it. I have Lockett on my bench. D-Hop is hurt. So, yeah, I mean, I think it improves your roster. That's always going to be super important, too, and hold a ton of value. How much does the trade improve your roster? So you go from kind of in a spot where you might be flexing Zamir White, which I still think is okay. But then you go to Brees, Zamir White, Laporta, Nico, Smith, Watson, Pickens. It puts you in a better position. I'm not trying to undervalue ETN, but I'm okay with everything in context with doing the trade. But I also believe in Zamir White. You got to ask yourself if you do, too. I mean, right now you're flexing Zamir and Jake Ferguson. I mean, that is not ideal. Tresner says London don't belong nowhere near round 2. Yeah, it's not ideal to have. I mean, I like Ferguson a lot, but definitely not ideal. Definitely not ideal. All right. A lot of people not high on the Raiders. Yeah, but Zamir White is a workhorse running back. Said it during the draft we just did. Said it all off season long. Go back and look at what he did as the RB1 last year. When he was RB1 for the Raiders, 17.5, 14.5, 15.6, 13.1.
It was solid.
Ceiling might not be super high. The offense might limit that. That's fair. But he'll be fine. I would rather have ETN for sure. So it's a tough trade, but I do think it improves your roster. Who do you have on the bench at running back? Big thing is that you have Breece Hall, so you have an elevated ceiling already. Tresner also good with Zamir. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what my exposure on Underdog looks like, but Zamir White's gotta be up there. 17.4%. So right now, Mostert, Rashad White, DeAndre Swift, Chuba Hubbard, Jerome Ford, Damian Pierce, Austin Eckler, Gus Edwards, all above him. So still pretty high. He's tied with Derrick Henry and Javonte Williams. Then right below them is Saquon and Isaiah Pacheco. My most drafted running backs in Underdog.
None of that is at all surprising. What I just heard.
None of it's surprising. Damian Pierce is just a guy I take a lot as an RB5 or 6. Yeah, really not a single surprising name on there. Henry at 17.4 makes me, and Pacheco at 15, Saquon at 15 makes me feel great. And honestly, I've got Brian Robinson Jr. at 13, then C-Mac at 12, which is good. Monty at 10.9, and those are all my double digits. Everyone else is 9.8 or lower. Bijan is at 8.7, Gibbs at 9.8, Hall's at 7.6. So that's all still not bad. Still have good exposure to those guys. All right. Taking a running back and a wide receiver with my next 2 picks. Then after that, I'll start moving around a bit. Nice. I will take JMO. And then man of the hour takes Zamir White.
Don't say people's names. You know what happens.
Oh, I waited till I was on the clock.
I wasn't paying attention good.
You're good. I'll go out on a limb and say Zamir's has a chance to be better than ETN. Chance is the key word, but I won't be surprised. Why are we low on why are people low on ETN?
Jags offense.
Yeah.
People are low on the Jags. I don't know what to feel. I don't know how to.
RB3 last year. But I think the coach speak hasn't been great. And like maybe it's just coach speak, but like they're saying they want Bigsby more involved, but they said that last year too. I feel like so ETN in the second is like my least drafted running back in that range. Then Jacobs in the third. And then like Connor and Aaron Jones in the fourth, fifth, sixth, depending on your draft. I don't know why I just haven't found myself drafting a lot of those guys. I got Gibby, Charbs, Tracy. I mean, yeah, it's not great. I don't don't really like any of these situations. Charbs okay as a handcuff. My Zamir exposure is 19%. Yeah. I have drafted a lot of him. Definitely easy to target. Albert, good to see you, bro. Price says being a Zamir owner, this makes me feel fuzzy inside. The trade is a slam dunk. It's a good trade for your team. I'm still. It improves your roster. That's the most important. I mean, it improves your roster right off the bat. You go from having two good flex options. I mean, I think Smith is your wide receiver too. If you do the trade, then Watson and Pickens are your flex options, but you still have a viable RB2. You still have Brees as an RB1. You have a great tight end in Laporta. Who's your quarterback? Got Collins as a wide receiver 1. Do not trade Amon-Ra, pray. Don't trade your first round pick. Yeah, just don't trade Amon-Ra in any format. You have to be like blown away. Stroud's your QB. I will highly, highly consider this trade. If I were you. All right, so an interesting spot here. Just going to go Shaheed and Wicks. Move along. Get some depth at wide receiver. Dang it. This is why I don't like drafting Jaden Reed. They're not like super upset with this, but it's just Wicks, Dobbs, Watson are just so affordable, and it's so easy just to end up drafting one of them. Whenever I Reed, I feel like I've gotten some extra dip into the offense when I could have just drafted Wicks late. Trying to offer me a QB, but I don't know. What they don't know is I have Jaden Daniels' belief. Don't make a trade for Amon-Ra that includes a quarterback. Yeah, Fletcher, when it comes down to trades, always do what you think is best, but I think it's a good trade for your team at the end of the day. Don't trade Amon-Ra. They can't give you enough value. On top of that, he's finishing wide receiver 1. I mean, I won't be surprised if he does. Pray, what's your opinion on Jaden Daniels, Tresner? If I pick 1 through 5, I pick Amon-Ra even at 1.1. Hey, I always say it. Identify your guy in the first round, running back or wide receiver, and take him. My exposure to Amon-Ra is 14.1%. So My most drafted first round wide receiver. I got Hollywood Brown at 30.4%, Worthy at 19.6, and Rice at 14.1. So, and on that wide receiver room, me and Tresner may be the same person. That would not surprise me.
Bot account or a burner account. Just
not surprise me. If anyone has a burner account in this community, it's Prey. All right, into the 11th I go. Yeah, Pete, I showed it when you were away, but I'm in like 30 slow drafts right now on Underdog.
Jeez.
Just trying to get them in. I think the clock changes this week from 8 hours to like 4 or 6 hours because they're trying to make sure all the drafts get done in time.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be annoying. But
you got some time.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Switching that's why you need to get all the notifications on Underdog.
Oh yeah, my phone is like constantly Underdog telling me my draft pick is going. But yeah, trying to switch up builds, exposure, get some different looks, different players. It should be fun. All right, I mean, this team's looking solid. I'm going to hold off at running back. There's not really any wide receivers I feel like I have to draft right here. This has been a heavy wide receiver draft. I think I'm okay tearing into 156, 157. I want to lock up tight end here. Might be a mistake. I'm going to go double tight end. Go Komet and Hawk. Yeah, Tresner and Prey no longer the same person. Tresner not a fan of Jaden Daniels. We'll see more JD when he's QB1 and Super Bowl champ.
Not this decade. I shouldn't say this decade. Not this year.
I like the conviction. All right, to anyone tuning in, we did do a real subscriber draft. You guys can tail back to the beginning of the draft. Gosh, we've been live for 2 hours. Does not feel that way.
No, because that draft was a little slow, and it was just like everybody was locked in.
This is the bonus draft here.
Fun. Hooray.
Jared Goff is on the trade block in League 3 that just drafted.
Yeah, because you were just shitting on the Goff pick.
I may have. Here's Prey's team. He's listing for us. Jaden Daniels, A-Chain, Zamir, White, DK, Cup, Amon-Ra, Andrews, Godwin. It's a double flex. It's a double flex league. Oh, wait, you did list 4 wide receivers, didn't you? Yeah, DK. I don't know. I do like.
It's a good team. It's a good start. It's very good. His starting team is very good.
Got to pick on Prey.
Yeah.
But yeah, the starting lineup I think is very solid. Did he have DK? I feel like you always draft DK, Prey. All right. Solid squad over here so far. A little bit of a different strat. We got JT, Pacheco, White, and White. Both Rashad White and Samir White. Puka, Dell, Reed, J-Mo, Shaheed, Wicks, Komet, Hawkinson. I need a quarterback. Kind of pushed QB. Cousins is gone. There goes Chuba. I need Stafford. Where's the Cup team? Oh, he drafts like right before me. He's just got Burrow. He's taking Stafford. I've been really bad about this lately with quarterbacks and underdog drafts, but there goes Raw. Yeah, I'm screwed at quarterback.
No, you're good. Believe.
I'll be so surprised if Stafford falls here.
I
Maybe
believe.
the only thing that could happen is he's not paying attention. And okay, there goes Stafford. I was about to say Stafford might go to a different. What is this team? 3 tight ends. Josh Allen. What is this? There goes, oh my gosh, Baker's gone. I knew going double tight end was a mistake, but I had to get Hawkinson there. Oh, this is going to be one of these Frankenstein quarterback teams. I know this team's mad too that he goes Musgrave. So even if I wasn't going to get Musgrave, I need to draft Derek Carr. I can't believe I'm saying that because I have Shaheed.
Derek Carr's getting benched, remember, for Spencer Rattler.
Oh gosh, dude, I'm in such a bad. Oh my gosh, I forgot it's 20 seconds per pick. All right, give me Michael Wilson. Let's go. And I'm going to draft Adam Thielen because now I have to target Bryce Young. There's no reason for me to draft Deshaun Watson. Just none. So now I'm going to have yeah, I mean, Tresner makes a fair point. You don't need to draft Derek Carr per se. I'm going to have a Will Levis, Fields. If Geno or Watson fall in the next round, I'll take them. I might consider Sam Darnold. I think I might actually have to draft. I might actually have to draft Derek Carr. This is a 4 running back team, though. I don't think I'd draft another running back on this squad. Should probably draft one more tight end on this squad. We'll be fine. How many picks do I have? 4. Yeah, we're good. Do I have how many wide receivers? I got 8 wide receivers. Okay. All right, Adam Thielen. I'm banking on. I think if all else fails in a draft, you can always draft Thielen and Bryce Young. Or and I guess Daniel Jones and Darius Slayton.
Oh my God! Don't ever.
I know I'm in a bad spot. Do you recommend that I go for Allen or Hurts in the 3rd round, or better I go for running back? I mean, for me personally, I'm not spending the early draft pick on quarterback. I think there's so much value later in drafts right now, especially in redraft formats, that for me, I would go wide receiver or running back over Hurts or Allen. I still am going Allen over Hurts at the moment. But I think that if you're going to go quarterback in the 3rd, both are fine. But yeah,
we are 2 of the worst people to ask this question too about quarterbacks. we never draft quarterbacks high.
Yeah, we're late round quarterback, and I've always been a late round quarterback drafter.
I want to say I got that nugget in 2016 or 15. You shouldn't draft a quarterback before the 10th round. And I waited and I drafted Russell Wilson in the 10th round. And it was one of his good, he lit it up that year and I won. And I was like, oh yeah, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You can find a good quarterback in the 10th round or something like that.
And I mean, worst case scenario, you can always find more than likely a top 10 quarterback. Worst case scenario, top 12 in those later rounds.
Yeah, where could you have drafted Dak last year? He was quarterback 1 or quarterback 2. You could have drafted him late, so late.
Will Levis is joining my team. Sorry to interrupt. And then I'm reaching for Bryce Young.
How do you feel about mayo in your coffee?
Is that even real? I know there's a video, but is that real? Does he really?
I don't know. He's got a mayo cologne now. That's
Dude,
real.
that is one of the strangest things
Hey,
ever.
man.
Ever.
He dates hot women, so I'm okay with it. I approve. It clearly works.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness here for sure.
His girlfriend at the draft was hot, and then he got a new girlfriend. She's pretty hot too, I think.
I mean, Will Levis is stud. He just puts mayo in his coffee. Isn't there something else weird that he does?
Yeah, he's like a keto guy. He's like a big keto guy, I think. That would explain the mayo. I think I heard it was like kind of fake. It like kind of said as a joke. He puts mayo on everything though, or something. I don't know.
Coffee is. You can't drink that. That's not.
I mean, I've seen butter on coffee, coffee, which is yikes.
I've seen but mayo is like.
That's pushing it. I agree. It's pushing it.
I just checked. Bryce Young is my most drafted quarterback in Underdog.
You are calling up Dave Canales and saying, please, please don't be bad.
Young, Mayfield, Cousins, Stafford, Rodgers are my most drafted, but they're all like, I'm not drafting them as QB1s typically. I know this is a bad example, this draft, but then after that, it's Goff, T-Law, Mahomes, Carr, and Levis. Then Prescott, Love, Stroud, Purdy, Hurts, Kyler, Allen. So
I'm surprised Kyler's that low.
I am too, actually.
You're a little high on. You're high on Kyler.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing all these slow drafts. It's like I'm trying to even out exposure and do different builds and all that stuff. I have a team where I drafted Allen and Hurts.
Ooh,
like
that's
recently.
A dog team.
Yeah, just doing stuff that I don't usually do. Remember when the Bengals went to the playoffs and Carson Palmer broke his ankle the year I drafted Palmer in the 11th? He was a baller that year.
I was so sad when that happened. I loved that Bengals team. That Bengals team was so nasty. I loved that Bengals team. Oh, Chad Ochocinco. It was Chad Johnson back then and TJ Houshmandzadeh. That team was so nice.
I forgot about Houshmandzadeh. He's a baller too.
Who was there? They had a decent running back too. They had to change the rule. Like you can't roll up on the quarter. That injury and then the Brady injury is what sealed the deal on like rolling up on quarterbacks low. Typical dirty Steelers. People like gloss over the Steelers were like the dirtiest team in the 2000s. It felt like they always did dirty shit. So I never felt bad when Vontaze Burfict was headhunting against them. It's like, bro, you're Pittsburgh. Chill.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like those Steelers, Ravens, Bengals games when I was growing up were just like, holy crap, dude. And whoever let the year Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Terrell Suggs were on the same team, Super Bowl champs, right? Yeah, whoever that should have not been allowed. That was like
that team was gonna lose. That was the Jacoby whatchamacallit, the
conspiracy in that game.
Yeah, about the corner.
Just I don't know what happened with those lights. That was weird.
Oh, that almost cost them though. They were kicking the shit out of Frisco. Frisco came back because the lights went out. It's backward. Yeah, it's backwards. Everyone thinks it's the other way around, that the Ravens won because of the lights. It was like, no, the Niners were getting killed in that game. And the break, they refocused, and I think they kind of changed what they were doing, and they put together like a quick game plan, and it took them out. And the Ravens when you're up, I think they were up like 17 in that game, maybe not quite that much, but they were like foot off the gas, like, we're winning the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, I'm just super upset over here because Derek Carr is not available for me to draft and Daniel Jones not available. So
you've reached the bottom of the.
I just drafted Russell Wilson.
Russell the Goat Wilson.
This is a weird, and I drafted Adam Thielen for no reason, and accidentally drafted Michael Wilson.
Clearly, you can't do 2 drafts in a night.
I know. That's right, Rudy Johnson.
Chris Henry, too, RIP, was a stud as their third receiver.
Man, I miss LT being a thing in the NFL.
That's like right when fantasy started picking up big, too.
31 touchdowns. I don't know if that'll ever be broken.
That'll never get broken.
I think Gurley was close, maybe. But like, how close?
My guy's doing hat tricks. He's throwing, running, and catching a touchdown in a game.
Just crazy. All right, so this will wrap it up for the night. We'll be back tomorrow for League Two's draft, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So good drafting tonight. Little bonus underdog action. I drafted a weird team here, but good for another entry. Some more exposure here. Hit the like. Links are down below. Do all that good stuff. Here's an awful team. Will Levis, Bryce Young, Russell Wilson, JT Pacheco, White, Rashad and Zamir, Puka, Dell, Reed, Jamo, Shaheed, Wicks, Wilson, Thielen, Komet, Hawkinson, and Conco. I mean, everything's fine on this team except for
quarterback.
Except for this. Oh wait, I forgot. I didn't draft Adam Thielen for no reason. He's got Bryce Young.
Yeah, there you go.
It's fine. Happens. Yeah, this was one of those teams. I'm going 4 running backs. Everything else started to fall apart. All right, we'll be back tomorrow night with another real draft. Beautiful. Pete, I'll let you say goodbye, and we will get on out of here.
All right, everybody show up tomorrow. Watch it. It's going to be terrible. Both of us drafting. I'm picking at the 1-6. I will be in full costume. Wait to see it. You have to stop by to see it. Hit the like button. Check out all the videos. All this stuff. It's here. We're ready to go. And this season's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
It's going to be great. All right, great draft tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And peace.